What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off-topic. As you guys know, we're not at our typical spot. We're at Life Sound Studio in Austin, right close to downtown. You guys want to check them out. Super high quality studio. Very, very nice. We're with Francesco.
Francesco. Yeah, I go by Frankie, though.
Okay, we're with Frankie. He invited us to a spot, shoot a podcast. We've actually had this in the works for a while. I remember you reached out to me probably like sometime last year.
And
we just
back when I was cooking up.
Exactly. And we were it was fire at perfect timing. I mean, we got it all planned and excited to be sitting here with you. Very, very grateful. And obviously got Carlos over there, posted up, co-founder, co-owner as well of Opinionated Media. But we're about to jump into you're probably gonna have to correct me again, but Francesco, aka Frankie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You Italian?
I'm Italian,
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, when I
You're both your parents or
No, my dad, my mom's like mixed with some stuff. She's got some in her too, but yeah, most of my dad.
have you been?
No. I'm American as fuck. Yeah.
Easy, I ain't going over there.
I'll go when I'm rich. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, that's kind of when I just want to, especially Europe, because like when I go to Europe, I want to go out there for like a month because there's just so many places to hit.
When I go on tour, that's when I'll be there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Like that. But thank you. Allow us to use your studio space and then just taking time out your day to do this podcast with us. I know you're a busy man. But just give us a little backstory, just a little rundown, where you're from, who you are, and all that good stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I do want to say thank you guys for coming too.
Of course.
no doubt.
Yeah, so
it's nice to shoot somewhere else. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
He told me, he was like, would you mind shooting over there? I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah, I was hoping you guys would enjoy the spot. So far it looks like a win.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit about me. I'm from Dallas. Moved to Austin probably 3 years ago now. I hopped into the music scene heavy out here about a year ago, and I was doing talent management before that, and I became part of Life Sound, and now I'm doing the shows, running the studio, managing artists. Anything to do with music in Austin, I'm doing it. So I mean, that's the short. If you want to get to the nitty gritty, you gotta ask me some questions.
No. So growing up, do you have any hobbies that you did? Play sports or just?
Dude, I was a very like smart, meticulous kid. Like I was in every club that there was to be one. Like I worked with the mayor, ended up being like the mayor's team council vice president. I was an honor society. I was in like every club like the school had. I did all that shit. Just overly active kid.
You're a little brainiac.
I don't know about it anymore, but yeah, back when I did it, yeah. And then always had like a crazy passion for music, but I never deep dove into music then because in my mind, because I joined the military, I was like, this is what's gonna get me through school, so I need to, focus up on things that are gonna help me there. And then once I got through all that, music's just been such a like a Spotify recap. I was in like the top 2% of listeners. So like, I just like all day, every day, I'm bumping something. Yeah,
That's fire.
So I guess growing up, did you kind of think like, not necessarily school, but just of that realm was going to be like what you did growing up, since you were just all in all these different clubs?
No, man, I never knew what the cards had for me, and I still don't. So I've just been riding this wave, My like method is everything's based on statistics. So I want to do as many things that will open as many windows as possible. Mm-hmm. And I have 2% chance to do it here, 2% chance to do it here, blah, 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 blah. But every window that opens is another percent for me to make it in another way. And I'm just letting God, the universe, whatever, decide after that.
For you.
Yeah.
So how long after high school did you join the military?
Before I even got out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you just like, did they go to your school and you're like, I'm joining, or were you just like, I'm just gonna go?
So we had some recruiters come. I was gonna join the Air Force, but I ended up joining the Army. But we had some recruiters come through for the Army, and I was like, man, that's some bullshit. And then one of the recruiters, like, he was after me like hard, and I was like, all right, well, this is what I want. Can you give me what I want? He laid it down. He's like, I can't. If you sign, you will get what you want. And I was like, all right, well, I got to pay for. I had like an 80% ride to A&M, but I grew up poor as fuck, so I needed that other 20%, or I wasn't gonna be able to go at all. Like, even with all that shit, I still, like, it was still tough.
Yeah.
But, like, at the time, I never thought I was going to do it. Looked into all the benefits, and I was like, you know what? This is another window for me. I'm going to do it. And I got it all set up, and I was able to do what they call a split option, where you, like, go in the summer, and then you come back, and then you go to school again, and you go that next summer. And because the way I had it worked out with college, with the officer program stuff, it was all good to go that way. So yeah, I never saw any of that relating to this though. That's for sure.
Where'd you get shipped off? Like, where was your basics and all that?
I was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. For like a majority of my training. Camp Swift, Bowie. I've been around to like a couple, but like beginning of it, basic was all Fort Jackson.
How long were you in?
6 years.
6 years. My friend was in the Army. He just probably around the same time. He was at Fort. What's in
Benning?
Yes.
Yep.
He hated it.
Yeah, Fort Benning's a tough one.
He hated it. He said if he didn't go there, he would probably still be in the military. But he said that just like that base alone just kind of ruined his whole like military experience in general.
It happens, man. I mean, and it's like going anywhere, like any job you get, you could end up in a place where you got bad leadership or bad team. The difference with the military is you can't quit. So like you're just stuck with them. So if you're in a bad situation, and that's why I've had my separation, is because you get in a bad situation and you're stuck with it. You just got to fucking deal with it. And it can be the greatest place in the world to make the best friends. But yeah, if you get some bad people over you, it is what it is. You just got to deal with it and embrace the suck.
Is that what it is over there? Is the leadership? Is that why it's like bad? I don't know if you've heard or not, but
I mean, it's all dependent, man. I mean, honestly, everywhere you go, there's going to be bad leadership somewhere. Yeah. So that's probably what it was. I don't know. It just depends on his situation. It could have been something crazy, like if you talk about Vanessa Guillen's situation or whatever. Could be something wild. I don't know. It's all very dependent. Like each base has its own culture, but then each group of people have their own set cultures. So it just depends. But a lot of times it's probably toxic leadership. That's probably what it was.
Gotcha. Did you get deployed at all or no?
I was lucky. So I did. All like, so I was smart in school, right? So all of my things were all stateside deployments. So I didn't have to do anything. Cool. Yeah, I didn't have to do anything outside. They always had me like for example, Camp Mabry was in there, Fort Hood, just like any like center of command. That's where I was at. That's
dope. That's dope. And then get out, and then you off camera. You said you did some work for, I guess, was it the state?
Yeah. So I ended up working with COVID. When that happened, I ended up working with FEMA and TEDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management, and running all operations for the COVID pandemic in Texas. Which at one point we had like 5,000 plus personnel. Yeah. It was a lot. I was working at like the divisional, like just the very top of the level, coordinating in between all those, and then the state and the military. So there's a lot going on, but. Yeah, it was a real cool experience. Pay was great. Had a good time. It was long hours too, though. It was crazy.
Yeah, sometimes because the guy that we're talking about off camera, he makes good money, but his hours are like 6 to 6. So he's like, he always says like, I'm just always drained. I don't want to work. And then another one of our friends was a petroleum engineer, and he said his hours were like,
I don't do it.
Crazy. He'll be like a whole month on,
and then like
a week off.
Yeah, see, I didn't have that. It was unfortunate for me because during that pandemic time, it was just like balls to the wall. Like whatever they need you to work, you had to work, and because you agreed to it. So like I had days where I'd get in at 6 a.m. and I would be done at 2 a.m. and I would just sleep in the office.
Were you hourly or salary?
Salary.
That's shitty.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
That's shitty.
I mean, it was a good opportunity, and I got a chance to do things I probably would have never got to do otherwise. So I'm grateful for it. Like they put us in the hotel down the street from here whenever I moved to Austin for it, and it was like probably like 5-7 minutes from here at Hilton, and we took over that entire hotel, and we were at the top of the hotel, and it was just madness. Just sleeping, like room was next door, go to bed at like 2 a.m., get up at 6 a.m., walk right into the office, and just back and forth. It was fucking crazy.
That's crazy. Just nonstop.
Yeah. I mean, it eventually came down, like whenever COVID first started to go in, then it spiked back up, and then it was bad again. But again, grateful for the whole experience.
And you're a manager there?
No, so I was running the personal readiness management team. So when I got there, they fired everybody after I got there not that long, and they had me doing it, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing because I never ran that big of an operation ever. Yeah. Like it was crazy, and I was still really young then, and then it was just a whole different level of like intensity. But I was working with like captains, majors, and sending all this stuff out to important representatives. So I just had to tighten it up because they were like, if you can't get it together, you're gone. So I figured it out.
Yeah, it was like either sink or swim. Like you can't drown in an environment like that.
Yeah.
So, I guess so you went to do all of that stuff, and you said you moved to Austin. Before you moved here, were you kind of thinking about maybe going in a music route? Were you already in that kind of direction, or was that when you got here that you decided to start diving into that?
I never like this was never none of this was ever in the plans. Not in the way it is now. Always been good at management in like all kinds of ways, and I was already like looking into music management before I had got to Austin. And always had a deep passion for music. Always had music connections and all that kind of stuff. I was trying to figure out when, the two ends would meet and it would make sense. And I got to Austin, opportunities popped up when I started actually doing like real talent management out here, and that's when it like went into full fruition. But before I got out here, there was no active plans because I was just trying to survive at the time. Like I said, I was broke as fuck. I was just trying to get my life together.
Oh yeah, and I guess with the talent management and all that stuff, who are like some of the first artists that you kind of discovered, and then like what was your process about being like, hey, you ever thought about having a manager? Like, I can help you get to this point in your career, music wise.
Yeah. So the first artist that I played that R&B song for you when you got here, that her name is Sierra South. She goes by CC South, and she'd never recorded a song in her life, but I knew her since way back at A&M. I knew she was a really talented artist, really not even an artist. She wasn't an artist yet. She just could sing her ass off. And I knew that George Pettis worked here, and he was at the time 6-time Grammy nominee, 97, and then he's 1-time Emmy nominated. And I had already built that relationship with the people here at the studio and George. I brought her in, and we made that first track, and it was phenomenal. Still not dropped yet. She actually has some vocal cord issues. And we made the next track, it was phenomenal. And it wasn't even an official thing yet, but when we talked about it, I was like, hey, I think you really got something here. Let's put forth some more energy. So we started building up her socials and her, whole marketing plan for the drop. And then she actually got vocal nodes on her on her vocal cords, and it completely paused the process. Like, we're still waiting for that to heal. She may have to get a surgery, so that's unfortunate. But then after that, being involved with the studio, we did the Tay Money show during South by Southwest, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of good at this shit, and I like it. So I started working with a lot of artists in town because I was doing shows at Crew, I was doing shows here. I was just trying to get my feet wet into the show industry out here. I've done shows in the past, and I've done lots of parties, like at college stuff. I'm really good at parties. Done hotel parties, all kinds of random stuff. I was like, same thing as throwing a party, doing a live show, just a couple more variables. And I met Stephen Q, and then me and Stephen are working together right now. And while I was doing the studio, around that same time is when I ran into K-Rob, and he had just started recording. Keelan Robinson, the running back, if you guys don't know, for y'all. I ran into him. He had just started recording, and then I listened to some of his stuff. We made some tracks with him. I was like, man, you're really good, bro. You're not just a performer on the field. Like, you need to start honing in on this. So now I work with him. That's when I started. I was probably back in like February of last year, and we still got a good relationship. And now I'm working with Torella, Afrobeat artist, verified out here. Really good guy, really good, talented musician. And Suave, another really great, talented, verified act out here. But at this point, I've kind of closed it off because I've got a lot of people trying to work with me.
Yeah,
it's a lot to manage an artist effectively if you're one person. So you can't work with everybody.
Yeah, and for sure, like, I mean, you even talked to us about getting people on the pod and stuff, and it's kind of one of those things where you have so much outreach where you don't want to turn people down, but you kind of got to work smart and strategic because you have all your hands in all these different jars, and then you're not really fully fulfilling. You might be elevating someone a little bit, but you're not elevating it as much as you could. Or
and at that point, it's doing them a disservice.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially for people that they want to take this seriously too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, they're not, like you say, you elevate them a little bit, but it's like,
yeah. Sometimes people take it personally though, man. Like, they take it real personal. Sure. But you got to remember, one man or two men. Like, there's only so much you can do effectively without diminishing your quality of output. So,
what got you into music? What was it?
What got me into music?
Yeah. Well, what was it, and what was the first genre that you're like?
Dude, I grew up in South Dallas, like on in the Oak Cliff area, and then I went to school at Cedar Hill. So like just rap has just been around me my like whole life, and that's like we're like #1 rap studio. So it just happened to fit perfectly here. But yeah, it's just being around music, bro. Like, I just grew up with really culturally diverse people, and it was just how I connected with everybody.
And then when you guys decided to do this, were you like, oh, I'm just gonna do rap artist, or were you like, you're open up to anybody?
No, any and everybody can come here, but we just happen to have the best rap engineer producers in the city. So like George Pettis, you know, he's Grammy, Emmy nominated. He could do anything. Other guys, they do pop, they do country, they do stuff like that too. But what we're known for is hip hop, and I love all genres of music. That's good. You know, there's horrible music in every genre, but we're not just a rap studio. I don't just listen to rap, but rap's one of my favorites, and the city, we're one of their favorites for hip hop. So it just is what it is, you know. We got the spot next door though, and we're expanding over there. We're opening a little venue, and we're also adding in a stage. So at night it'll double as a venue, but there's a studio in the back that's connected. It will be connected to that stage. So we'll be doing bands and things like that there.
That's dope.
That'll be fire.
That'll be fire.
Yeah.
One big question that we always have for, I guess, local artists. I mean, we know Austin, it's fastest growing city, one of the biggest growing cities. There's so many resources here, so many people here. Music's been a part of Austin forever. It's been known as the live music capital of the world. What do you think Austin has to do to get their name to be like the Atlantas, the Dallas, the Houstons, the LAs, and stuff like that for the music part? Because we have so much talent here, but I feel like that we're just not on the map in like the music side of it.
Yeah, so we're live music capital, not recording capital, and the biggest thing that's holding us back in general that we're not New York, Atlanta, LA, is there's no true community here. It's a lot of gatekeeping. There's a lot of artists that only support their group or just their music and expect everyone else to go support them. In all these other cities, there's a huge community, and at the end of the day, one thing has to happen for Austin to really kick off at that next level. In every community, eventually there's a champion that rises, right? But everyone has to be able to support that person, and that person goes up, and it can take people with them.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened here because the crab's in a bucket theory, right? So if someone's trying to get out, nobody wants to see them win. That's the problem. The biggest problem. The community needs to be more developed, and there needs to be more support. There's also a lot of lack in structure. Like most artists out here don't know what an EPK is. It's a huge problem. Like most artists out here have no marketing plans for their drops. Most artists out here just don't want to do the footwork of what it used to be. Everyone thinks it's like the mentality of the lottery now, where it's, oh, if I just get on TikTok and I just make some videos, you might make it. Small chance, like we're literally winning the lottery.
It's like Post Malone.
That true footwork that was done in every city before social media really took off is why those other cities are so big and like different kind of music hub. Like if that answers your question.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
What's EPK?
Electronic press kit.
What is that?
So that is in the simplest terms, it's a resume for an artist.
Okay.
So it's going to have pictures of the artist. It's going to have their stats. So let's say for Suave, he's charted in multiple countries. He's went overseas. He's performed at shows with 50,000 plus people. Like your biggest stats. So you send this to a venue, a label, anybody. They can look at it. It's got clickable links. You can find your social, and we make them. But you can find your social medias. You can find whatever you're looking for is in a short, summarized version where they don't have to go. Because people were saying, my Instagram is my EPK. Your Instagram is not your EPK. Nobody wants to look at your fucking Instagram. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nobody. If you're nobody, and like you have to keep that mentality. They don't know you. And if someone sent you their Instagram, are you really going to look at it? No. Put it into an easy, digestible format where they can understand who you are, what you're coming with, and what you're about. And that's the summary of it. But like people don't have that here. Very, very few artists I've met here have it.
Do you think it's just because it's not something that's like, I guess, taught?
And that's part of it. Some of it's structure and some of it's education, because we're lacking those fundamental principles of those other cities. Like if you go to LA, everyone's got an EPK. Like you go to New York, Atlanta, same thing. It's some of that is just lack of knowledge, but also internet is here. Lack of research too. Like if you really wanted to look into how to take care of yourself as an artist, there's plenty of stuff out there.
Do y'all I guess try to build that culture here at the studio?
That's my goal. Yeah, that's what we're working on doing. I've been trying to put out everything that I know and that's been working for us and for other artists that are bigger that I have connections with. Been trying to, like, that's why I've been doing the shows. So like everyone complains about here, oh, can't do shows. Like everyone's like won't put me on the show. So I did the free shows at Crew to try to give everybody a platform. They ended up getting shut down, unfortunate. But we're gonna be starting them back up again once we got the venue over here. I was working with the TV station for a while, putting as many artists that I knew out here onto a live platform. So, and it's just that give that someone has to do. Someone has to to help somebody else in order for them to do better, and they can help somebody else. It just, that little bit will go a long way, but there's just not a lot of people willing to take a chance on anybody or even on themselves, in my opinion.
Well, going back to also what you said about the gatekeeping and all that, I don't understand it. No, I don't understand why people are just
why people do
people
that.
don't put each other like, bro. If you go to like Atlanta, they're literally known for like being like just putting them on. Literally,
It's
YSL literally known for bringing everybody up.
fun fact: YSL is going to be here March 17th, next door in the new venue.
That's dope.
That's fire.
So yeah,
That's fire.
hopefully, if y'all drop this before then, yeah,
When is it?
March 17th.
March 17th.
March. What?
It depends. We can move some stuff around.
We can move some.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can make some.
we can make it shake for sure. No, that's crazy because I mean, like I was telling you off camera, we met a lot of artists through either this or just from like mutual connections, and it's for us obviously like it's different for us. Like we're not making music, we're not competing, but we also met other people that are doing podcasts, doing content, things like that. But we always talked about collaborating, working together. And I feel like it is different in music because, I don't know, people are just like, oh, like, I don't want him on my song, or I don't want to be on his song, or I feel like I'm worth this as a feature. But I always think the more, like, creative minds in a room, like, the better the project's going to be. And I don't think it matters in what field you're in. It's kind of, it's always crazy that that's a thing.
I think, I'm going to answer his question first because it hit me while you were talking.
Yeah.
The reason why I think it's like that is because no one's really made it from Austin yet, and everybody wants to be that guy to make it. Everywhere else, people have made it plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like that's part of it. And going back to what you were saying, I don't. It's complicated, man. I really think. To me, I don't think you should do a feature with anybody. But if you rock with their music, do it. Everyone's caught up on. They've been doing it for a year or two, whatever. Their stats, they're thin. Their notoriety, it's thin. Why not work with somebody instead of getting caught up on I want 250 for a feature? Again, and in the nicest way, who are you? And I don't mean that in a rude way, but like literally until you've made it, and even then, if it was me, I wouldn't care. If you got a good sound, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Yeah,
That's
for
it.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
So do you think, I guess, people that are up and coming should just get on people's stuff for free and not even like charge at that point? Because it's like you said, like it's like, who are you?
I think until you've undeniably made it, and don't get me wrong, if it's someone you don't want to work with or not loving their music, cool, throw them a price. But if it's someone you would like to work with, why cancel out that opportunity to make some great music? Because again, being an upcoming artist, budgets are hard to come by. So if you've been in those shoes, and you might be one baby step above this person, but they have a great sound, that opportunity can elevate you as well. And every feature you do, if it's a good one, you're hitting a new crowd of ears every time because their fan base is not your fan base. So the opportunity cost, you have to weigh that. And in all honesty, until you've hit a certain level, I think you're making a mistake.
And I also think too that people that are kind of picking and choosing don't really like love the craft or love what they're doing. Because I feel like anybody that loves making music, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm down to do that. I don't really care.
I agree.
And obviously you can't work with everyone.
But there are people who love music to death, but they love money more. There are people that love money more than they love music. But there are people I know that are passionate, that still great artists will come to them. They want to work with them unless they're paying. Which, again, I understand part of it, but the love of money,
I understand it. It's like photography in a way, because it's like
that's true.
This shit is expensive.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, not even the studio, but like even making music in general. Just since we've had so many artists on recently, excuse me, we've been understanding like how much it cost. I mean, obviously we knew it was a lot of money, but like I got a different understanding of how much it costs, because like they're all using BeatStars because they don't have a producer who makes beats, or they don't know how to make beats. So it's like how much it is to rent or release.
Yeah, we didn't even know about leasing beats till 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it also kind of sucks in the leasing part of it, because it's like you can lease a beat and that like you're using that beat, but I can go and lease the same beat and make a song.
It's not exclusive.
It sucks unless you buy it.
I mean, And you got to think about that on the producer's end too, right? So I mean,
they got to make their money too.
Producing, depending on who you are and you're doing it right, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. I would say more so than actually writing to the song. Like to produce a really good beat, high quality beat, takes some time and effort.
Yeah, because I mean, there's just so many different
It's crazy
things
variables.
inside of a beat.
Especially if it's a custom beat. Like if you're trying to coach them through exactly what you want and they make what's in your head come to reality, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because you have artists that like push it to the last minute all the time, and it's just because I mean, obviously to the amateur ear, you don't like hear it, but like the one that comes to mind is like Astroworld with Mike Dean, and he was working just nonstop until the last minute he couldn't. And it's like he probably hears something in after it's released that in the song that we don't hear, but it's like, damn, I should have just turned this up or took this out or added this in. We're just like, making beats is a lot.
Well, and
It's
I feel
good-
like
a good beat.
I feel like too, since like you're seeing all the like the nuances firsthand, the production. Then you obviously have people that are just straight engineers. Then you have people that are straight working on vocals, and then you have like obviously the artists and whatnot. Like there's so much that's involved to make a song. That's why it's also expensive because you gotta pay all these people too, you know. So
And you really gotta operate in your means, like
Yeah.
in all ways of life. There's free YouTube beats; they're not the best, but if that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford. There's home studio setups; they're not the best, but if that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford. And quality is super important, but until you hit a certain level of your artistry, you just need to start developing the artistry more because a lot of artists think they're amazing, but there's still some ways they can go, and you can figure out where you're lacking with your peers. Like, yo, actually, the way you're hopping on that, you need to change it up. Whatever, right? That kind of feedback is valuable. And even if the feature's not you getting paid, but it's them paying for the studio time or something like that, where it's like it's still a collaboration. But because you came to me, pay for the time, we'll do it, whatever. But yeah, and there's plenty of cost-effective ways to go about doing what you're doing, but a lot of that starts with connections. Like if you're connected with somebody with a dope ass fucking studio setup you didn't know they had, but now because you fucking showed them some love and went to their show or you pulled up to their studio session or whatever, now you're gonna invite it to record for free. And guess what? They produce as well.
Yeah.
There's crazy amount of like talented home studio people in Austin. Like crazy talent.
I mean, that's also like not becoming like the wave, but in a sense becoming the wave.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just with everything else. Like everything's a saturated market, so it's like everybody's trying to be an artist of some sort, and that's the first thing that people start with is just a home studio.
Yeah, and man, I believe the music industry is you're basically a politician at some point too. So leverage what you can. Like make friends that are doing what you're doing, and things will get easier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or in the same realm.
You have to, and that's going back to what he said is like.
Yeah.
I don't see the point of not working with somebody when you're doing the same thing. Like, you can learn how to, I don't know, do the same cadence as that person if you didn't know how to do the cadence just from being around them and talking. Oh yeah, just different things like that. Writing and just beat selections, just all kinds of different stuff. I don't understand it. I've never understood it.
People, man.
You gotta work together.
You've talked. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You've talked about like earlier. You just talked about like giving feedback and whatnot to artists. And I guess since you're managing a few artists yourselves, how do you go about like giving them feedback, and then how do they like receive that?
I mean, it's all. I mean, the thing is, man, you got to know your person, so it's all case by case dependent.
Yeah.
But the best way is to just have a set procedure. So like after a performance, every time they perform, you give them feedback. So whether it's good or bad, they were expecting it. Because if it's unexpected, that's what people can take things offensively or just on the left. Like it's not how you meant it, but because you've never done it before and it's bad news, now it feels like an attack. Or how you just got to know who you're communicating with. And it could be great feedback. You're telling them, in unexpected great feedback, that's always cool. But if you can make it where it's expected every time, when the bad feedback comes, it's not as harsh. So again, it depends on your person. Maybe if it's your guy, and like you've known him forever, you can tell him straight up, however, whenever, and it's all good. But if it's a less established relationship, I've found that having a set procedure always helps.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
Going back to like the feature side of it, like do they, when they're like, hey, I want to get so-and-so on this, do you have like a say in that as well? Like, I don't think you should, that should.
It all really depends, but generally no. So like if someone has a beat that they bought it for an exclusive and they're coming here, Our job's provide a service. If that's what they want to do, it's what they want to do. If you have a perfect, like, say it was one of my producers and they had a personal relationship with the artist that gave the beat, nothing to do with life sound. But if the producer's like, hey, I don't think this collaboration is what this beat needs, that can be offered. But it's all dependent mostly on the artist if they paid for the exclusive. And if it's a lease or some type of deal they have between the artist and producer, it's up to them. So it's really just, it's in the creative's hands on how they want to create with it. So.
And then what all do y'all like offer at Live Sound? Besides, I mean, obviously we're in this beautiful studio and y'all can see it and all, but there's some other stuff back there that.
Yeah, so we do recording. You know, we were primarily vocal, and like I said, I mean, we've worked with some bands. We have a hookup out there, but we're gonna have a crazy setup next door. We do photography, videography, shows, bookings, electronic press kits. We do pretty much anything related. Like I'm working with a couple companies now doing bookings. Worked with Round Rock Amphitheater, running stage, all that kind of stuff. It really just depends. But as of right now in this building, photography, videography, recording, and then bookings and marketing help.
So y'all aren't just a recording studio.
No, man,
that's dope. That's smart too.
Yeah, there's a lot of recording studios, and there's two problems. They have the lowest paid engineer in there that will just press spacebar. That's it. They're tracking you, and it's the lowest bidder. That's another problem with Austin Music. People go to the lowest bidder. It's not always the best option. And the other problem is that studios are just about $1 amount. That's it. All of them out here, they want their money. That's it. We're doing everything. We're more of a collective. It's like trying to be a keystone, a focal point in building that new community. Not even developing the community, developing what's already here, but giving some type of foundation where people could stand on and get behind.
That's dope. So what has this life been like for you? Because it's so you went to the military, and then that was probably a complete 360 from just the high school life to regular life, and you get out of the military, and then you do the stuff for the state, and that's probably a complete 360 from the government. I mean the military, and then you come here, and what you do here is just a complete 360 of
life's been hard, bro. It's been hard. My sleep schedule is not good. It's not good. But
no, neither is mine.
It's been tough, but you know, it's what I asked for. Everything that I have done is at my own will and at my own volition. So I just accept it. Like sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's easy. But a lot of times it's really hard. And one day it'll all be easy.
Because like you didn't even picture coming into this realm of the world. So it's like once you got that first, I guess, like artist or like even started talking to it and like managing it, like how did you even learn how to do this whole music life of the world? It's feel like it's complicated.
It's very complicated. Like I said, I always had a passion, but I always felt like I had a calling too. Like one day I woke up and was like, I need to go manage an artist today. And I just kind of, in a way, have known what to do, or at least where to go to get me to know what I need to do. And again, 2023, man, you can GTS, Google that shit. Like, just if you don't know something, look it up. It just takes a little bit of time. And then obviously you utilize the network. Because of how I've been moving in the industry, I get like dimes tossed to me all the time. Like, hey, actually do this, or this is a little secret, nobody knows about it, do this. It's because I fuck with you. I appreciate you helping me out last time. Like, a little bit goes a long way with connections and just being able to hear a separate opinion or any advice. So I mean, that's really what I got. I got a great team around me, got great people in the industry around me, and I got a ear that's willing to listen and a brain that's willing to do it.
What's been the hardest thing for you to learn since coming into?
There's been a lot of hard shit, dog. I mean, I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. Probably trying to keep up with these engineers on this vocal tracking and everything. Yeah, trying to keep up with all their sauce. Like we got some real hitters here. So trying to keep up and keep myself useful in every area has been tough, because I'm definitely the weakest link inside the studio. But we're doing shows, any type of management thing, I'm the guy. But I always want to be useful anywhere. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a weak link in the studio, but it's also a strong link to have, because that brings more artists into the studio for them to make their money and get paid, but also still do what they love to do.
Yeah, you need someone that's like kind of the forefront that can do all that and put it for all the people that are, the groundwork. There's pros and cons to anything. And you got to have, I think, both flowing simultaneously to really make shit work too. So
yeah, everyone's got another role.
Exactly.
And like my role here, I'm not supposed to be the star behind the computer.
yeah,
I'm not supposed to be the star behind the camera out there. I'm not supposed to be actually on the stage, maybe a little bit. But yeah, my role out here is I take care of all the back end. I take care of make sure everybody's happy, take care of functionality, and then I go find the people, I find the opportunities, and I get the shit done on the street. But that's the biggest part of any successful group of people. Know your role, be comfortable in your role, and it will flow. But when you fight the path, when you start fighting the path, that's when the resistance comes.
what's a day in a life for you? Like, what's your day to day like?
So I would have been able to tell you that a year and a half ago probably, but I mean, it's so random, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, at any point in time, like, Big X Plugs people just called right before y'all got here, and they're probably gonna be here tomorrow. So, and I had a whole bunch of plans for tomorrow, but all that shit just got moved. So it really depends. Like, you know, like last year, had no idea I was gonna do the baby show. Phone call, boom. Now I'm staying up for 20 hours a day, trying to prep for that and still do this and still do my other shows and all the other shit. So it just depends, and I take the rest when I can get it because I know that the grind is next door. So I don't typically, if I can, on a good week, get up around 8 a.m., go to bed around midnight to 3 a.m.
Must be nice.
Yeah, but that's all. That's when I can. That's when I can. When I got,
I understand that.
yeah, because then the thing is, it's never the same. Because then I get a call, hey, I need a session, bro. It's 2 a.m. I need a session. I need like 4 hours. So then I'm up here till 7 a.m. Fuck. So it just depends.
Are y'all's engineers on call as well?
24 hours as long as somebody's available.
Okay.
So like anytime you want to get in, if we can get you in, we'll get you in.
How many engineers do you have here?
Right now we have 4.
4. And then how do y'all like go about like scheduling? I guess that is just kind of whoever's readily available.
It's kind of like each one's like they got their own different flavor. So if everyone like if we do ice cream, you like vanilla ice cream, cool. You're gonna go to YB. If you like fucking Rocky Road, you're gonna go to GP. Like it's because everyone's got their own like it's all unique sounds. On once you get to that level of engineering, everyone's got their own twist to it. And same thing with production. Everyone's got their own kind of style, so it kind of divvies it up itself. So when we get a new customer, they'll pick somebody. Normally, they'll go with the lowest person. If they didn't like them, then they'll go to somebody else. And it's not even that they didn't like them; now they didn't fit them perfectly, you know. But yeah, it just depends. It kind of just evens itself out. Like everyone has their own specific kind of sound and their own specific kind of like crowd that comes to the record with them.
What's been the funnest thing about this whole?
The most fun?
Yeah.
The music, man. I mean, I've heard some crazy music since I've such good untapped talent, and just the people I've met, the opportunities that have come up, like doing like booking sound for private events for like CEOs and executives, doing the baby show, just opportunities that would have never came in my old life. Those things would have never happened. I would have never got to meet these interesting people, the people I see on Instagram or whatever. Now I got the opportunity to I've already we've recorded most of TSF here already, like getting to meet them in person. And like I was listening to Sauce Walker since I was like fucking 13, 14 or whatever. So like getting like to see all that like firsthand, that's dope. That's dope. It's worth all the struggle.
Do you ever not get scared? So I don't know what word to use, but I mean, we all know how the rap scene is and what it entails and what comes with it. So like, I guess being around people like that all the time, do you ever like?
So
especially right now for just the rap game in general, it's not a good time. It hasn't been a good time to be a rapper lately.
Yeah, I mean the world's crazy, man. Things happen all the time. I'm kind of desensitized, like with all the military stuff and just like I grew up in rough neighborhoods, so like to me,
it's just another day.
Fucking another day. But and I'm not saying I'm the hardest fucking dude on the street, but just like it's life. It's not gonna be perfect. All the clients we have here, pretty well, everyone knows how to act, and if they're acting crazy on the streets, they know how to come here. We've got a good team built around us, so people know how to come. And if they don't, then I mean you can't record here. It's just that simple. Yeah. But yeah, we don't have anything crazy going on here. We keep things cordial. Shit, we keep the vibes great, honestly. Yeah, everyone comes here, they're happy.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we've walked in, I mean, the vibe's been great. You've been very welcoming. It's just especially when you come in here and you just see the way it's set up. It just feels very homey and just
For sure,
feels like just a great place to be. And if you're like that, I can only imagine other people.
Yeah, the team here is great. You really need to come back and just kick it with us for a little bit. But yeah, like bad vibes, man. When I first got here, that kind of scene was trying to like put that energy over here. I kicked all that shit out. Like you could be however you want to be when you're outside these doors.
Yeah.
So when you're in here, this is a creative space. Everyone needs to be operating like it. So
Yeah.
it's just setting that culture and standard. And once it's set, it's mostly good. And you have your left and rights, but for the most part, shit's gravy.
Do y'all just rent out this too? Like if, let's say, Travis and Mike Dean walked in here and they wanted to use this, y'all let them use that as well?
Yeah. So yeah, we do rentals with engineers and producers. But if you know what you're doing, we'll rent out the space to you. You won't have anyone over your back or anything like that. We just make sure you're good to go, and you hop in, do your thing. It's like we had songwriters for Warner Brothers come rent the space out before. Talib Kweli's people. He was rocking with one of Drake's engineers and Dave Chappelle's engineers. People come in all the time. They'll do because they have their own team, right? So like once you start getting that established team, then you move around with them, right? So yeah, we'll do rentals where people could just come in and do whatever. We have people that will rent this space and turn the lights on to whatever they want them, and just sit here and write. Just do like they don't even touch the equipment. They're just because they like the space.
They like the space, the vibe.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How'd you meet K-Rob?
That is a good question, man. I gotta think back. We done had so much history since then. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so it was right back when I got started, and I wanted to do a little marketing stunt, but also my buddy Josh, he's got a clothing brand. Shout out Authentico, great clothing brand. But his buddies were coming into town, and one of them is the defensive end for the Bengals, Joseph Osai.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey man, I just got into this spot here. Give your boy some time, and he went to UT. So like, tell him to invite the boys from UT. You know, it's no problem. Let's take care of them. Get them some drinks. We'll sit in here. We'll have a good time. No plans to make a song. I just wanted to, set the vibe, chill with everybody. Yeah. Everyone got in here. We started having a good time. Made a song. The song was fucking crazy. Like it was good. It was dope though. But yeah, we had a defensive end in here. We had Keelan. We had everybody. That's when I first met K-Rob, and then he stood out to me because when he hopped on the track, he came with a different energy, and like he had been there before. So I ended up talking to him. He's like, "Oh man, I just started recording like a month ago. I'm still like figuring everything out, but I'm just having fun with it." And I was like, "Man, you got something, And then we started developing a relationship from there. But yeah, there was no plans to even like, I didn't know he was gonna be there. I knew like my buddy Josh and his friend Joseph was gonna be in town or whatever, and this is a cool spot. So I was like, yeah, why not? Like I just got over here, let's host a little thing. It'll be cool. And then it just turned out to evolve into something more. Going back to relationships and why you need not be an asshole and just build with people. But yeah, that's how that all started.
How difficult and how different was it for you to manage an athlete / artist? Or is it to manage, I should say?
I mean, K-Rob's easy going, man. It's not, it just depends, again, it's all the person. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with what their occupation is. It's just who they are. The hardest part with him is a schedule.
That's what I was going to say.
But the dude he has so many songs that you guys, like, not even, like, unbelievable amount of songs that are done that are not out. Like, in all of his free time is because he's got that mindset in his brain, probably from football.
Yeah.
Of the grind. So, like, in his free time, he's training, making music. That's it. Like, he doesn't make excuses for everything else. And like a lot of people, myself included sometimes, I will make an excuse on why I can't do this certain thing, but you got to tighten it back up and get back to what you're actually doing. Because if it's a hobby, it's a hobby, but he's taking it serious. All of his time he's doing it. The hardest part with him is finding time to book him for shows. And we still made it work. Like when I was doing the cruise show thing, I had him he headlined 1 or 2. And he still came out to the others. And even if it was only for an hour or two, he'd come out, shake some hands, and say what's up, and maybe do a song. He did it. And then he lost a little sleep that night, but he still showed up. So right now, the hardest part hasn't happened. It's whenever some real big shit pops up, seasons in, and then we have to go somewhere. That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, because sorry to cut you off, but he played football and he played college ball. So like he sent me like his off season schedule, then like in season schedule. I'm just like, you literally have time to do nothing. Basically.
But sleep in school, really.
Keelan's mad disciplined. That's the best. That's what got to give him his props. He's so disciplined, bro. Like, and that is a blessing because it's easy to work with for the most part,
And then also going back to what you said, I don't know why I just thought of it now, but I don't know, like you never know who you're gonna meet either. So like that's why you always got to build new relationships. Like you never know what the other guy's doing
Exactly.
and who they know.
And who, yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But and like it's the intent shouldn't be there. Like I'm gonna meet these people so I can get something from them. But it's just like
No, that's never the intent, but that's just how like
just
kind of
connections
flow with
happen.
it. But that's how it happens. It's how the world
Organically.
works. But yeah, like you're gonna eventually meet some people that have common interest or are interested in something that is related to what you're doing or whatever. So it's important. But it's so I feel like it's overlooked out here.
So how does it for him? Are you also like his NIL manager as well?
No.
Does he
That's
have like a whole
different-
separate?
I can't talk about that.
No, okay,
Yeah, for
that's
or
fine.
something,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like a whole separate world. Like that is a whole different thing.
So for him, I don't know if you can talk about this either, but for him to make money from music, does that have to go through that as well, or is that?
It's super complicated. So because NIL rules are anything related to football. So it would depend, man. It most likely no, like 90% chance no. It just depends on how things are distributed, marketed, and things like that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was one of my questions I was curious about. Is like, how does it tie into like if it does tie into NIL at all?
It's like almost 100% separate. So for example, when I had him I had put him on the flyer for the baby show as a host, and then I had him perform at the after one. That's fine. It doesn't touch it, but there cannot be any like Longhorn logos or anything relating back to the school or anything that ties him to football. I had him in his jersey on it, but like it couldn't read Texas all the way across. The horns couldn't be on him, but they could be on the flyer. So there's just like a lot of rules that you have to do a lot more research before you just go do something like you would with a regular artist, or you will get yourself and your client in a lot of trouble. So it really it depends, but 99% of the time, it's not a problem. It doesn't really conflict.
It's also dope for me too that you take the time out of your day to like research this stuff so he doesn't get in trouble, and also shows how like you take whatever you're doing and your clients as well.
Yeah, and honestly, man, Keelan's smart. Like if there's something that I like didn't check, I'm always double check. Like, hey, before I post this, is this cool? Mm-hmm. And then that has saved me once or twice where he was like, actually, this is like slight, like the way they read it is you need to change this. So it's just always double checking because I'm not always gonna get it right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do what I can.
So what are some of your goals for yourself and then this place being here? What do you want to do?
So before this year's over, plan on doing some type of tour. I'm working on setting it up right now. Don't want to talk about it because if it falls through, I don't want to look like I just talked.
Yeah, for sure.
Want to do some type of tour before this year's over. A handful of shows, at least one more A-list celebrity show that I personally do. Getting this spot up and running, and that's concurrent with same goal for here. Goals for here is going to be expanding. Like we've already dominated hip hop in Austin. Now I want to move towards pop, EDM, and bands, and that spot next door is going to really help us do that. Along with that, now that we've got a pretty good reputation in the city and long-standing relationships with bigger people, trying to get us some sponsors for here and then any shows we do, and then start doing some type of classes if possible. This is like if everything lines up thing. Start holding like seminars where we're educating the artist in the city, like what we're talking about.
That would be
good.
major.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
But that cost lots of money. So but that's something that is in my goals for this year for this place. If everything goes the way it needs, everything else though is definitely achievable. That one's gotta fall the right way. But yeah.
I mean, obviously you want to do it this year, but that doesn't even have to be this year. It could be beginning of next year or whatever. But I think that would be huge. I think I
do it this year, man. I gotta keep them coming out, or else I get complacent. So
yeah, exactly. You got to keep innovating and just keep expanding. Really. Mm-hmm. Since you have access to all this and all these resources, have you ever thought about making music on your own?
So I have. None of it's released, but I've made music. Yeah, just because, and it's really just for my like understanding mindsets purposes, like what an artist goes through when they're making a song, how they feel. Like I get understood a lot more after I did it, and that's why anything I get associated with, like when I started doing shows, I was like, I want to know how to run the show. I want to know how to do all the sound. I want to know how to do it. I want to know how to do everything that I'm a part of, so that I have a full understanding of it. So I become like with the state, I was a subject matter expert. That's because I knew how to do everything. And I want to be able to, like, I brought that over here. I want to know how to do everything. I want to be the best at everything, but I need to know how to do everything.
Exactly.
So I've got songs made and stuff like that. I'm maybe never drop them. Maybe I will. I don't know. But that's not my like calling. I don't think I'm supposed to be an artist. At least not right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how this will turn. I don't know. Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I've made some songs. It's been real cool. I can't wait to when I get more time to actually, because I've recorded them, like engineered them I did all of it myself on them. I'm happy with them, but I can't wait till I can actually like got time to come down in here, sit down with my main guys, and then really put out some like real sound. But yeah, I've done it.
Yeah, that's dope. Because I mean, like you were saying, just knowing how to do everything. For us, we just same thing. Like learn how to use the camera, learn how to edit, learn how to set up all the equipment. Eventually, we don't want to do that forever, but at least knowing that if you got to, you can get your hands dirty and do it.
Exactly.
Help out.
Job done.
Yeah. No worse feeling ever than being sitting in a room where some shit's got to get done and you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Like just get stuck with the ball in your hand, no plays.
Yeah. If I was an artist, and I would probably never be because I don't think I'd be good at it, but I would for sure want, just sitting here talking to you and listening to you, I would for sure want you as like my manager. Just because like you, everything you say, just you care. You literally care. And you care about what you're doing and you care about your artist. Like you don't have to make music to like see how it like affects the artist.
It's
like,
important, dog. I don't know why, but like I just felt like I needed to do it, so I did it.
And there's probably not, I would say not many, not nobody, but not many people doing that and trying to understand their artist better. Because I mean, just with anything, like everybody just wants to make their money.
Yeah.
But there's some people who care about their people more than others, and I get that from you, and that's fire.
I try to be as genuine as possible, but it's like it's hard for me to ever go at something with bad energy, man. Like if I fuck something up, it's because I genuinely fucked it up. But like I gotta come with that right energy. The money thing that's been on like the last of my mind. Like I was making great money when I came into this. I have not made the same kind of money since I got into this. But it's okay because I believe in it and I believe in the people I'm working with, and I've just got that genuine passion for it. So it's nothing I'm worried about. But yeah, man, it's just like if I said I was gonna dedicate some time to you, I'm gonna do everything I can. That's why I don't have a bunch of artists that I work with directly. I'll consult somebody, I'll help them out where I can. But if I said I'm really gonna do my best to help you, I have to limit it because I can only, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna give that kind of energy, I only got so much energy.
Yeah. And that resonates a lot with me because of what you told him on when y'all were communicating. You had somewhere that you got invited to tonight, but you're like, nah, I said I was gonna do this with y'all first. I'm gonna do it, and that for one goes a long way with people, and two, that means a lot to us. Yeah. Because you didn't have to do that.
I'm glad you guys appreciate it. But again, bro, it just goes back to like we're building this relationship, and like flaking out on you guys last minute would be shitty as fuck. Even it's a great. I mean, people I'm going with supposed to be there. I don't care if I'm late or not. I promised I was going to be here. Told them that they respected it. And if you're just straight up, keep your word. Things tend to work out. You know.
Yep. Yeah. How stressful has it been managing artists? This is one of my last questions. How stressful has it been, like being an artist being a manager for artists?
Honestly, man, from the artists I choose to work with, not a lot of pressure from them directly. It's mostly pressure on myself, trying to get them the return for what I promised. You know, it's like, and the best thing you could ever do, under promise, over deliver. But like, I believe in all these guys so much. I want to make sure that I can get them everything they need. And like, so like, again, like the pressure's all on me. It's like, hey, this is what we want. Lay them down. Like, okay, what do you want? What are you trying to do? What's your goals for that, in a year, 2 years, 5 years? You know, go through a whole plan. What's your goals for, like, I had to talk, like, what are you trying to do this year? Okay, cool. So now it's up to me to kind of like fulfill those things. Not receiving any pressure on their end, but all the pressure's on me. It's like, I want to do more shows. I want to be on a big show. I want to get this kind of feature. Okay, how do I make all this happen with what I have available to me? And who knows who? It's a lot of internal pressure. But like on this far as coming from them, they're all great people, man. Like I've never been impressed by any of the people I work with.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Do you have?
I'm trying to think. We have like a little rapid fire question segment, but I kind of want to ask him a few things. I guess. No, like with that, that's really it.
Yeah.
But before that, is there anything you have for us before we jump into that?
I mean, this is your podcast. So the questions I got, I don't know. They might already know it, but what got you guys into this?
That's like the number one question we get,
sure.
which I don't mind answering because
No,
I love I love our journey.
Cool.
I love our story. It's fun. It's great, and it's something I always look back to. So I don't mind ever talking about it. But when I was a senior in high school, podcasting wasn't big. Like, it wasn't a big thing. But I wanted to do it. I don't know. There's something about it. It just drew me to it.
Well, you were right.
Biggest
thing ever.
So I was also big into sports. So I played baseball, and I knew, like, I'm not gonna make it to the MLB. Like, we all say this, like, I'm gonna go to the NFL, I'm gonna go to the MLB, and all this and that. It's like, I knew I'm not gonna make it to the MLB. Like, 5 foot nothing. I don't throw 100, and like, I have nothing like to show for that. So I was big into sports. So I went to school for sports communications. And then went there for like 2 weeks, and I dropped out. I was like, this isn't for me. Like, I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to do this math history and all that. So we graduated the same year. So he's a freshman in college too. So I came with him with the idea. He was the first person I told. I was like, hey, would you be down to do like a sports podcast?
So we all roommates?
No. So
we're just good friends at high school.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he went off to college in Colorado. So he was gone. Okay. But I came with the idea. I was like, hey, what are your thoughts about like doing a sports podcast? And this was his freshman year. So it was like, he was like, oh yeah, that'd be dope. But it wasn't like nothing serious at that point. And then once his like junior, senior year came, that's when we were seriously like, okay, let's do this. But we're not going to do it yet because we want it to be more professional, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word. We wanted the cameras, we wanted the microphones, we wanted the mixer. We
didn't
wanted
want
to
half-ass do it.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be over Zoom and whatnot. So it just got me into it. It was just going to school, realizing that's not what I wanted to be in, but I still wanted to do this. And this is what I chose to do, and here we are. It sucks though because we started doing it at a time when podcasting got huge. So just like everything else, it's like, oh, you're just doing that because everybody else is doing it. And like, reality, no, I've been wanting to do this, and we've been talking about doing it. It just happened to be when it got big. Which isn't a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. But when you had that idea, though.
Yeah, I had the idea. So it's always like, man, if it just started then, where would we be? But hey, I mean, it's part of the journey, man. It's just, that's what I love about it. It's like, hey, who knows that when we started, that was meant for us to start, and there's something way bigger that we were gonna build than if we would have started then.
Yeah, Amen. And like, just to piggyback on some of the stuff he said, we eventually rebranded into Opinionated Media, and we still do sports stuff. Like, we do little sports shows and stuff like that. But what me and Carlos enjoy most are like these conversations with people that are kind of in the same realm as us, creating, or they're an entrepreneur. They're just, they're either big or kind of in the ground roots, just starting it up. But it's cool just to have the conversations and like share their perspective, because I feel like everyone we're meeting is going to be very successful. Like, every single podcast that we've done, you can kind of feel the energy in like the room that everyone's on this path to get to a certain point. Obviously, some people are going to get there closer or faster than others, but that's been what's been beautiful about it. And we still do the sports shows, like I mentioned, but we eventually want to build up like a media company, like I use these for examples, like a Barstool or like a Complex, to where it's a one-stop shop. You can watch all your sports stuff, and that might be ran by people that work for us. Like, we're not on that type of content, and we just do like this. Like, we'll do like the Off-topic, which is it's called, and interview people, and then eventually, like, we know a bunch of artists, so working with artists, doing like their storytelling, like videos like that. Obviously photography, commercial photography, videos. Like, we're trying to do all that stuff, and eventually have like different businesses within the main business is kind of where the direction is. But now it's been fun. It's great. Like you were saying, meet the relationships and meeting the people. That's probably been, at least for me, the most like fun part about this the last 4 years. So we've been doing this.
Meeting the people and hearing people's journey.
Yeah. It's dope.
Cause I mean, that's just, at the end of the day, it's kind of what we built this off of. Is just, I wouldn't give a fuck if we didn't make a dime. as long as I gave someone a platform to talk about what they're doing, and they got that, and they got to do that, and that helped them grow an exponential amount, that's all I care about.
Real passion.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
I feel that.
This video can get 100,000 likes, and if it brings you 100,000 people, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
That's all
dope.
I care about.
Yeah. So.
Fun fact: I almost started a podcast.
Really?
You should still do
like
it.
right. Nah, man, I got too much going on. That's y'all's gig.
I feel it.
Yeah,
There's room for more.
Man, I don't have the time, dude. Maybe when when I'm 40 or something.
Yeah.
Or like just like when things slow down. But yeah, right before I got into right before I was starting to do management, and I was trying to figure out what I needed to do because I just felt like it was something else I was supposed to be doing, and I was literally about to do this, and then studio popped up. So I was like, all right, it's not podcasting. I'm supposed to do a studio. So then I came to studio. But yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing content
Oh yeah, dude.
besides like podcasting, but just other stuff?
What do you mean?
It could be like different TikToks of like
I kind of figured
what's
out where
the was it KPA? Is that what it's called? Or no, EPK.
EPK.
EPK, like talking about EPKs on the TikTok and just different
could,
ways
like educating people.
educating,
Yeah.
and then also that's also getting your name out there as a manager as well. Like,
that's a good idea. I've never thought of taking the social media route because like the podcasting thing, that was just me, dude. Because I love these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
It was like if it does good or not, I don't care. Like I like this.
Yep.
Like this is me.
Yeah.
TikTok, social media, that's not me. Like only reason I use my Instagram now is because I have to. Like
for
I
sure.
have to have a presence.
Yeah.
I don't ever like feel like I'm some like celebrity personality or like anything like
Yeah.
that. So I've never thought of that, but that's actually a great idea for the informational purposes.
Yeah.
That helps me achieve like some things I want to achieve. So
Yeah, exactly.
I might get with you on that on the side.
Yeah, no doubt.
Get
Let
some
us know.
tips.
We can help you out. Anything.
I'm always the main I went to the doctor today because I don't sleep. Like I'm up all the time and I can't ever fall asleep.
That's what I'm doing.
My mind's just always same with him. Like my mind's just always going, thinking of different ideas, thinking of different
sure.
things to do.
Like I got a little journal I carry around, and like I'll think of stuff and I just write that shit down.
Get a journal.
Yeah.
I swear, I got a journal it keeps you on track, and you don't forget your ideas.
Yeah.
And if you're always looking at it, you got to remember to move on it, because if you got it in your notes or you got it in the back of your head, you're gonna forget.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you guys separately.
Go for it.
What kind of who's like your podcast host that you think is like the best, or like if you could be like them or whatever?
I'll go with I don't know if you've heard of him, but Bradley Martin, like big
Bradley,
like fitness guy. I met him probably when I was 21 years old, but I've been following him since I was like 14, 13 when I first started like working out and stuff, just because I wanted to learn how to work out and do it properly. And that was when he was first like starting off on YouTube, like 2010, and it was like hardcore 30-40 minute videos of him just like going through a workout, explaining like what you got to do, like the stretching, the whole routine. And for me, just to see him not only like start his podcast called Raw Talk, but to see him evolve as a content creator, like get involved with other parties like Nelk and other people and continue to evolve. Because obviously you could be the fitness guy, like educational guy, but to really elevate, he realized he had to become more of an entertainer as well. And then he started the podcast Raw Talk, and I just really like how deep and personal he gets with every single guest. Like you can tell he really cares. He's not just getting people on for clout or for the views or whatever. And then he recently became a co-host on the Full Send podcast as like another just podcast host.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he basically, in my opinion, like I like the Full Send podcast because of who they were getting, but I don't think the interviewing skills were that great in my opinion. But I think since he's on it now, it's like the perfect dynamic. Like everyone has a role on there, and I think it meshes perfectly now. But I would say for sure, Brad.
That's dope. Yeah, I was not a fan of that podcast before, but I need to check that out. That's dope.
It's way better now. Like he's been on like the last like 20 probably. He's been on it for a minute.
Really? That
Ever since I don't keep up with the Nelk people, but ever since when that one dude got fired or quit or whatever,
since Bob got fired, it's gotten better.
Is when like Bradley got on. But I would say Bradley, just because you can tell that it's not a difference with the Nelk podcast. He just,
you see his value.
And it's very structured and like it just flows so much better.
Yeah.
And then the people at the Pivot. Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark,
Channing Frye. And,
That's a good pick.
Yeah,
a good pick.
they do a good job of interviewing with 3 people with an extra guest. Like their conversations flow very well, and then everyone they bring on, them 3 still have a lot of insight of like whoever they're talking to and whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So I think they do a very good job of flowing their podcast
For sure. Yeah.
They're great. They're great hosts.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about all I got. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
it for
that's
me.
it.
I guess one last thing for me, who's one artist you would want to manage? It could be someone that nobody knows, or it could be someone that everybody knows. But who is one key artist you would want to manage?
Honestly, man, I'm really content with where I'm at.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. Like right now, I believe in the people I got and the people I'm rocking with. So I'm happy with where I'm at.
And where do you see yourself in like 5-10 years doing this? Like, what are your long-term goals?
You know, man, I got this saying, I'm never going to cock block any of my blessings. So I got goals, but I don't have myself set in any specific setting, any specific uniform, or any specific group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I would have done that, I would have never been here.
Yeah.
So I have my goals, but I don't relate it to like a position in life. You know what I mean? It's like he asked me the goals for this year. I've got those. But as far as success standpoint, it's whatever God, universe has for me, man. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel that. I love that.
Do you want your socials in the video, or do you want the studio socials in the video?
I mean, we could do both.
You can do both as well. Yeah. Well, I'll just get both the socials and throw them in the video. But I like what y'all got going here. It's a dope spot, prime location, near downtown, near also just the North Austin area. We live Domain basically, and
across
it's
the street. Yeah,
15 minutes
so
away.
it's like 15-minute drive,
and that's becoming a popular place. So y'all on a prime location. Great energy here. Great people. If you make music, come check them out, man.
We got it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be sending a lot of artists we know you're in your direction.
Appreciate that,
yeah.
man. I'll take care of my promise.
Y'all are gonna go very far, and you're gonna go very far. I mean, just from sitting down having this conversation with you, you're a very genuine person, and that goes a long way.
Cry, dog.
You give out great energy. When you give out great energy comes. So, y'all do some great things, and
Appreciate that.
I'm sure if I can tell you don't surround yourself with just anybody.
That's true.
Exactly.
So if
I
you're
learned that
here,
lesson. I learned that lesson hard.
yeah. Since you're here, that means everybody else here is just same way, if not better than you. So
That's facts.
Y'all are gonna go a long way, and so are you. I truly believe that.
Appreciate that.
Of course. Of course.
Yes, sir.
But again, thank you for having us here. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
You got somewhere to be. We'll let you get to that. But like I said, taking time out your day and doing this, appreciate that. It means a lot.
Anytime y'all want to come by, let's do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would love if we could do a collaboration. You guys could interview some couple life sound artists once a month.
Yeah,
we're
for
that.
sure.
We'll do a
down to do
collaboration.
that.
He has a dope thing that he also likes to do with artists, and we can talk about that a little
Love to
later.
do that.
But yeah,
We've got so many artists looking for outlets.
yeah, and social media is the way you get your name out there. So
Exactly.
gotta abuse it. But again, check them out. Prime location, great spot, right off the highway, near downtown. 5 minutes, if that. North Austin just isn't too far. Live Sound Studio,
Best
the
studio.
next big thing in Austin. But that'll do it for my boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Appreciate you guys.